Hey, that's it. Gooders. Good as could be. All right, Kent.
Yep.
Here's the deal.
2 of us doing coffee time. We haven't had a 2-person coffee time in
This used to be the
quite some
regular.
time.
This used, for like a year, more than a year. This was the norm.
Yeah, that's true.
That's so weird. That is so weird.
Can you imagine having Carol do a coffee time with us?
Oh, I'd pay a lot of money to have him come back do one coffee time with us.
Yeah. Because that's who it was in those days. Well, I guess Fred was around too.
Yeah, and then about probably 1 out of 5 coffee times, maybe a little less than once a month, we'd have some guest that would do. Crazy. And originally Peyton joined us back before there was video or any of this, all the exciting nonsense that we do these days. All right, Memorial Day yesterday, and I asked all my friends this question. If every sport had a leaderboard and every single...
This is going to be related to Memorial Day.
Nope, nothing. And every human was on each one of those sports leaderboard. You're somewhere on there. What... You're going to have to brag about yourself a little bit. What leaderboard do you think you could get the highest on?
For an actual recognized sport.
Recognized sport as in the Olympics, but can be weird.
In the Olympics, okay. That limits me.
Well, and I mean, baseball's not in the Olympics, right? So you can do other major...
It used to be, but I don't know if it is anymore.
You can do major sports if they're not in the Olympics, but like, you can't do like underwater basket weaving. You know?
Sure. What's the cutoff for the leaderboard? How many positions?
No, the whole world is on the leaderboard.
I know, but how?
What sport do you think you could become the best at compared to everyone else in the world?
Like, so top 50% compared to the rest of the world.
Yeah. Well, like for me, I played soccer. So I'd be like, okay, the thing I'm best at is soccer. But the problem is there's about 1 billion 12-year-old Brazilians and, Southeastern Asians that are way better than there's so many people playing that it wouldn't work.
Yeah. Football was the sport I played the most and played the longest. And I played offensive and defensive line, which are skills that stick around a lot longer than punting, passing, and kicking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's leverage.
Yeah.
Your brain is a big part of what you're using while you're playing, and you're just putting yourself into the right position. So I think if you went specifically as far as blocking or shedding blocks or something like that within football, I think that would probably be for that would sport. Be it.
Well, and to be fair, only the United States really plays
right. And that's
football,
the other. That's the other handy.
That's not too bad.
But I mean, you figure all the colleges, all of the varsity high school programs
in the world, you're pretty high. But of the people that play football,
there's a lot above me. Yeah, a lot above me.
Okay, $150,000. This was the other question I asked him. $150,000 a year. Mm-hmm. You get put into a sport, a professional sport. Like a major sport, soccer, baseball, football. You're playing at your current level, but that baby is aired. It's aired everywhere, So you're known as the guy who can't play, getting paid. You wouldn't take it?
No.
All right.
The physical dominance in that was something. I played 1 year of college football, and there was maybe a couple times, this was only Division III, but there were maybe 2 teams that we played where whoever it was that, again, being on the line, it's almost like basketball where you're guarding the same person a lot of the time, right? Or you're blocking the same person or you're beating the block of the same person. And so there were specifically the last game I played in, I was a sophomore in college, and this guy was a All-American senior. And oh man, I could barely do anything to him or direct him in any way or and I just remember thinking, it's like, this guy's Division III.
Yeah.
Like, if you take on an All-American tackle from Michigan or something.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't even know which side is up. You would just be so, and then think of the NFL.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're in the era now where everyone goes to get jacked at the gym, right? And everyone's got Instagram muscles now. And some of those guys get real big, and it's like, until you get physically dominated by somebody who never had to go to the gym, they were just their DNA coded for it. The amount of leverage they have, like zero creatine has ever been consumed by this person, and they will pack you up in a suitcase.
They were born with more muscle fibers than you had at your peak, right? Workout.
And it just like really reiterated to me, like, at any moment you think you're something big and bad, there is a way bigger and way better fish out there somewhere.
Oh man, it is interesting. Like, I find myself, this is kind of vulnerable, like if I see someone really impressive on the internet, whether athletic or something, kind of subconsciously go, yeah, but can they do such and such that I can do? Like, I feel myself do that.
Can they do a math test in
I
45 seconds?
That's been a long time. My little sisters are so much better at math than me. I'm thinking, like, could they figure out how to grow something that needs to be stratified 60 days on, 60 days off?
Everybody's got their place. But when it comes to, like, the arms race that has created sports as to what it is today, it's just, I mean, the people that are at the top of the pile, we can't even, I don't think we can even fathom. But I do think that we have, in a lot of ways, seen, especially when it comes to like the NFL, and don't get me wrong, there are fantastic athletes in the NFL, but I kind of think the peak was like probably around 2010-ish, because at that time, every high school in America had a full varsity football team, right? And a lot of schools had 50, 60 kids on their varsity football team here in the Midwest, right?
Yeah, and they only had 54 boys in the whole high school.
Right, and now it's like a lot of those schools are playing 8-man football.
Or combining.
They're combining with other schools to put a team together. So, I mean, that has to have, like all the personal training camps, all the, I'm going to quarterback camp, or I'm going to punter camp. Like, all that stuff has become an industry, right? And all the gear is better, of course, now. And what you're doing in the weight room, not just going to the weight room or having a weight room, but what you're actually doing in that weight room is better now, probably, like the programs and the exercise science and stuff. But, man, there was just something about, like, that era when, watching the NFL when guys like Brian Urlacher, who's 6'5" and 270 pounds, and he's playing sideline to sideline middle linebacker football. It's like those guys don't exist in the NFL anymore. The Warren Sapps, defensive tackle. I think they're, like some positions though, like quarterback play, I think is probably better today because of all those
skill.
Right. Oh. Yeah. Because like Michael Vick, he was like the original. I mean, there was guys kind of like him before, like Randall Cunningham. The Bears had a long time ago had this guy called Bobby Douglas who did more running than throwing, but the Michael Vick was kind of the first one of one guys. But now you look at like Lamar Jackson, and he's probably going to finish with better career stats, not just because Michael Vick was somewhere for a few years.
He had other things going on at home.
But I don't think it's every position, like you can say that, but man, there were just some real monster.
You know what I think? I think you've got declinism going on.
I'm sure I do, but
I don't know. I've paid attention to the sport enough to know like generally which teams are good.
Like, is there really a guy like peak Adrian Peterson anymore? I mean, I just don't think there is, and there's not really a guy like peak Barry Sanders even, and I don't even think that era of football, 80s and 90s was near as impressive as late 90s through probably mid 2000s.
And then some CTE studies came out, and some parents. Well, I don't know if you remember LeBron, one of the most famous athletes in the world, out loud, my sons aren't going to be allowed to play football. I'm not.
I don't remember him saying that. That's interesting.
Yeah, it went on a thing, but. All right. When Peyton was on the podcast, we used to have to say this all the time. We're not a sports podcast.
We don't get to do it very often.
No.
And you know what? The Bears are good now, and so let's end on that.
It's not a painful memory. All right. Well, we should jump in.
Coffee Time Wednesdays with the Prairie Farm Podcast.
Kent, hit us with the jingle.
Do-do-do-do-do.
At Hoxie Native Seeds, our mission is to provide native seed and education for landowners and land managers that care about their ground. So the education, we're doing that through the podcast and interviewing experts and the stuff we put out through our website. But the native seed that we provide, whether we grew it or we work with other producers that grew it, we are here to provide that for you. It's what keeps the lights on for us, and it's what we love to do. Most of our seeds grown right here on our farm, HoxieNativeSeeds.com. Oh, and if you need a little help with consultation, not sure what to put on your ground, we would be happy to help you with that as well. Give us a call, HoxieNativeSeeds.com. Welcome back to the Prairie Farm Podcast, Coffee Time Wednesday. I'm your favorite host, Nicolas Lirio, with the only, your favorite co-host, Kent Boucher.
The only co-host today.
Yeah, but also the only Kent Boucher-ish.
Oh, there's lots of them out there.
Are there?
Yeah.
Dude, there are no Nicolas Lirios that I could find in the United States. There's some in the Philippines.
Really?
That was all I could find. I mean, according to Facebook.
So if you guys are looking for someone to hack, pretty easy target.
My passwords are fantastic. Fantastic. I don't even know them. That's how fantastic they are.
Wait, it's just the word fantastic?
Yeah, twice. Capitalize F. We're going to talk about nuts today. We're talking about the global nut industry. And we are including peanuts. Technically not a tree nut, but
right, yeah.
We call them peanuts. And so here are the ones we're going to go through a little bit. Almonds, pistachios, walnuts, pecans, cashews, and then, of course, peanuts. We're going to go over a few things with them. How much the world grows, where it is grown, how they actually set the price for these bad boys so you can get them, and what are the major ecological impacts of those specific industries. Because it's different for each and every tree nut and peanuts. They're totally different. We'll start with almonds. Our good friend, the almond. I used to live very close to almond farms, and they are wild looking. I mean, they're
are they pretty? And like when they're all in bloom, all the trees.
Oh yeah. They're like Hallmark pretty, where it's like that is perfect, and everything about it is perfect. It's not like Prairie pretty.
Do they have a pretty good size agritourism side to them? Like people go there for wedding pictures and that kind of thing, or are they?
Great question. I don't know. So Redding had 3 mountains. They had a mountain on the north side, the east side, and the west side. But if you drive south to Sacramento or San Francisco, it's actually pretty flat in that area. Tons of agriculture, but specifically in that hour-and-a-half stretch, there was a lot of almonds along the interstate. And twice I pulled off to be like, what are these farms? Like these are, and they were big. I mean, they were definitely hundreds of acres, but most of them, it looked like they were thousands of acres of like a single farm, and they go in and they shake the heck out of those trees. And it's a cool process. That's where a lot of the bees get shipped from the Midwest during the winter. So they can do that. You might've seen,
I always find that arrangement so interesting because the beekeepers, I assume, charge the almond farmers a pollination fee. But like if the almond farmers were like really just like, no, we're not going to pay a pollination fee. And yes, they would take on damages, but it would be mutually assured destruction because we need our bees in California, okay? We can't stay here over the winter. I mean, bees do winter and hibernate in the Midwest, but
the honeybees aren't native,
right? Honeybees, so I believe they have to be kept over there.
It's interesting. We should have Phil back.
No,
on.
You know what though? I think don't they kind of like because I mean there's plenty of backyard. How do you say the word? Apiarists?
Apiarist? Oh yeah, I don't know.
There's tons of those people.
Yeah.
What do they do with theirs? Do the bees just hibernate in the hive over the winter for them, and they kind of like wrap it up with like some kind of thermal covering so it doesn't get too cold?
Fantastic question.
Or do they like migrate down into a warmer state? Maybe not as like, yeah, they're going to Mexico with the monarchs, but maybe they just go to like southern Missouri from Iowa or something.
Well, so 3 times in Dad's career, he did bees for like a period of time.
That's right, yeah.
And he did not ship them out, but I don't know what he did with them. Well, no, one of the times Ebert came and got them and shipped them out with his.
Okay.
I don't even think any money was exchanged. I think he was just like, "Oh, I'll ship them out, and then we'll bring you back a hive." But
that was nice of him.
Yeah. But I don't know. The actual like viability of them living through the winter is not large. And I don't really understand bee cycles.
Yeah, you should go back and listen to our interview with Phil Ebert, because he talks about why. Like, it's not just the climate that makes it hard on honeybees. There's a lot of other things going on. It's hard to keep a hive alive.
I think he was episode like 14.
Really?
It was way back there. Yeah, he was a legend.
Somebody just went back and listened to all of our old episodes, and they said they loved them all. So
yeah, they did. Which I feel really insecure when people tell me they listen to some of the earlier episodes, and I also feel really insecure when I meet people in person that like really like the podcast. I don't know. I just feel like I'm never going to live up to what people imagine me as.
You just have to assume we're way dumber in real life.
Yeah, we get a prep for like a while before we say things on the podcast. Okay, so when I was at Smoke Hero, I was a senior in high school. I got my year or bi-yearly review or whatever, and my manager, who was my brother-in-law's brother, said, "Yeah, you're doing a great job. You always find something to do. You know, sometimes you just say things." He said, just like, sometimes you just say, and what would happen is like, part of my personality is saying outrageous things. Well, that doesn't work so well when you're behind the counter.
Yeah.
You just say it to customers, just say outrageous things. Anyway, it works well on a podcast.
So for that reason, we are not just firing you, but we're calling the police.
Oh, man, that's funny. Okay, so almonds. 3.7 billion pounds are grown every single year. 2.6 of it is grown in the United States, almost exclusively in California.
Wow.
Yep. So the vast majority of the almonds in the world are grown in California.
Getting sleepy.
It's about $10 billion
Better
worth.
spice this up real quick.
What if I actually brought out almonds? Man,
that'd be great.
Almonds are great. So what's interesting with almonds, and we've heard this a bunch.
If that many are grown, you said they're mostly grown in California. What other state grows them? Like
basically states
Arizona
that touch just states that touch California. Like the
Washington, maybe Oregon.
Yep, no, Oregon and Nevada has like some farms, but it's well over 90% of the almonds.
That's interesting.
Yep. What really caught my
It's kind of like when you see corn growing in Colorado.
or like Georgia, and you're like, what are you doing, man?
That is something you could do.
It's like, well, we could lose $300 an acre on cotton, or we could lose $52 an acre on corn this year. It's like, oh, man. All right. So what's interesting is how they price it. So corn and beans is set. You can buy and trade futures of corn and beans because it is such a commodity, like a true, there's tons of it out there, right? Like metal or cardboard. But this is actually done with giant cooperatives. So there is kind of an oligarchy with almonds. And it's not the same oligarchy that runs all the other tree nuts. There's like different oligarchies kind of for each.
Starting to sound like barons.
A little bit, but each one kind of runs their own thing. The big one's Blue Diamond. I'm sure you've heard of them. Yeah. They use what's a math equation called a carry-in equation, which is basically like what's left over is brought into the next sector. But it's whatever they have left over from last year, plus what the USDA is predicting for this year, and they start setting the prices and guessing. And there's not that many cooperatives that are buying up all the almonds. So I thought that was fascinating. I do think that the farming is more consolidated with almonds. Like anyway, but the big ecological thing, water, 1.1 gallons of water for one almond.
Wow.
Yeah, to
That's
grow one
crazy.
almond. The almond trees absolutely zap the ground. And so a huge chunk of California's allotted agricultural water that they set aside and they allow is used by almond farms. In fact, the vast majority of it.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, that is something I don't fully understand. I know about it, but I haven't lived it enough. Or really at all for that matter. I mean, there's parts of part of Colorado that I hunted a few years ago. I'm sure water is a hot topic there. But like in Nebraska, they have the Ogallala aquifer there, which I think is like the third biggest freshwater.
it's huge.
Not water body, but biggest aquifer on the planet, I believe.
Could have cured the Dust Bowl. So big.
Yeah, and so to imagine like having such a huge industry like the almond industry and needing that level of demand, what that doesn't allow for other industries to use in water because it all has to be given to that is that's got to be a tense thing.
And I mean, it's interesting. Like the whole world is so dependent on almonds. California probably doesn't want to give that up. You know what I mean? So they're going to like treasure
Their
like a
almond
baby.
dominance.
Yeah. Yeah, but do they have almond dominance like we do? Why have oil when you can have almonds? All right. Number 2, pistachios. World produces...
My favorite nut, by the way.
I'm a big fan. Here's what I could not find. The world produces 3.2 billion pounds, and the United States produces 1.58 billion pounds. These are 2025 numbers, by the way. I couldn't find if that was with the shell or without the shell, and I was really hoping to figure that
weight?
out. Yeah.
It's got to be with the shell because only a fraction of them get dehulled. You know what I mean?
Dude, I remember being at Walmart. This was just a couple months ago, and we were going through the grocery aisle, and I saw this big bag, like 2-pound bag of pistachios with no shells on them.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, we are screwed. We are so wealthy that we get other people to de-shell our pistachios. We're just screwed. Like, we're soft.
Yeah.
There's no way out of it.
Well, but we do that with a lot of things. I mean, you can get, cracked peanuts and
But there's a big difference in crack and pistachio.
Yeah, that is true.
There's a reason they come with shells because they suck.
Don't you think they're probably machine cracked though?
Well, yeah, probably, but still, someone had to figure it. I just think that. Well, and here's why it's such a big deal: is we haven't had it for decades. So the fact that we finally figured out, like, I love that we get these nuts that are really rare and hard to grow, but I really hate just cracking them.
You know what is super frustrating when you're eating pistachios is when you get one that doesn't have enough of a opening in the hole.
Yeah,
to get it
crack
open
with your teeth.
Well, even then you're like, it just will not open, and you're like, it's so good, and it's right there, and I can't have it.
I don't like those because they don't have as much salt on them usually.
You want to hear a weird story about me cracking pistachios? I was grilling out at my last house, and we had tons and tons of spiders at that house, which I hear is it shows that like your house is a healthy, like there's not a, like some kind of terrible, noxious radon
like chemical
or something.
issue. Yeah.
And so anyways, out we had these like big wooden, like they're supposed to look like shutters, right? Not functional shutters, but just decorative shutters around our windows. And spiders loved getting in behind there and building these webs and everywhere. Well, there's like some really big spiders, and really big spiders make really big, heavy-duty webs. So I was grilling and eating pistachios and cracking pistachios, and I had this giant web hanging down. I was like, I wonder if I threw enough pistachio shells in that web, like I could create enough weight that it would just pull the... No, not even close. But
really?
Then I had like a month where I had all these pistachio shells on the side of my house, which my wife hated. And finally I took it down.
That's funny, dude. Okay, big deal with the pistachios. in terms of how they are priced, very similar to almonds. They have a few co-ops that basically kind of run it and set prices based on supply, demand, what they have from last year, how much was bought at the stores last year, how much they had to wholesale versus how much they could retail in stores. So the nice thing about monopolies is that they usually can be more accurate on what the market actually wants. So if a farmer says, hey, I want to sell you pistachios, they could be like, hey, we have a surplus. We don't need that. But if that's a pro. The cons of monopolies is so long that it's hard to describe. But that's one of the few pros is that they have the ability to price accurately. But they also have the ability to price whatever the freak they want because they're a monopoly or oligarchy.
Right.
Their big thing with supply chain issue is they have a 12-hour window from when they harvest them to get the peel off of the shell. Otherwise, they have I wrote it down, a kind of mold, aflatoxin.
Oh.
So anyway, it's that's kind of their big issue. They don't zap water nearly as much as almonds do, and they are mostly in California. And then outside of the United States, it'd be Iran and Turkey.
Really?
The world's
That's
pistachios. Yeah. Walnuts. Walnuts is 6 billion global, and the United States only does about 1.5 billion pounds, and that's about $8 billion.
And that $500 million is grown in my yard. I have walnut trees like crazy.
Walnut trees are awesome, and they take forever to grow.
Yeah.
There's the reason people want them. I wonder... No, it's got to be the nuts, right? I wonder what's had more money. Like, what's been a bigger economic impact, the wood or the nuts from walnuts?
Yeah, that is an interesting question. It's got to be the nuts just from the simple fact that a tree can only be sold once every, probably 30 years. Mm-hmm. Whereas that over the course of that time, that tree produced 30 years worth of nuts.
Yeah, hundreds, thousands of pounds of nuts. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, let's say, if it was 3,000 pounds of nuts and
the wood is worth way more than the nut.
I mean, thousands of dollars. Yeah, on one tree. Same old co-op, same old oligarchy, different companies, but China actually does by far the most in walnuts, which is kind of interesting. Moving on to pecans. What was interesting from walnuts, pecans is that walnuts had, like everything else, has billions of pounds, and the pecans drops dramatically to 600 million pounds in the world and 280 million pounds in the U.S., which is $2 billion. But basically, the United States and Mexico go back and forth on who produces more. And I think on this list, it's the only native to the United States.
Really?
Yeah. That was my understanding.
I heard once from a guy who planted a pecan tree that it takes 30 years for that tree to produce its first nut.
Oh, my goodness. That's crazy.
I don't know if that's true of all pecan trees or just one specific breed.
What does their contract look like with the company? I would never make a 30-year contract. I don't know if we're going to be around in 30 years.
Right,
you know?
Yeah.
And so, or maybe it's more leases. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like, man, that is the ultimate waiting game there.
Yeah.
Like, if you really liked pecans, you're like, you know what? I think we could use a pecan tree. Well, hopefully you're still alive.
Yeah, sir, you're 74.
One shows up.
Yeah. It's like that lady.
And even then, the guy said it was only like one or two that he had show up in his tree in that first year that he was supposed to get some. Now, I imagine now, that was 10 years ago. I bet that tree's just heavy with pecans.
The like tree nut game, I feel so like wealthy with it. And now we put them on like cheap pumpkin pies that we get at Walmart. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. But
it took 30 years to grow that thing.
And then we put some Cool Whip on it to make sure it tasted good.
Man, those candy nuts you get at like the trade shows and stuff. Like candied pecans.
Oh, yeah.
That is
where it's at. I judge people and their companies pretty harshly based on what they give out at trade shows. And I'm just like so two-faced about it because they don't give out anything.
Yeah.
What should we give out, guys? Like on the next trade show when you're hanging out with us at Pheasant Fest or something, what should we?
Mature pecan trees. It's 29 years old.
Next year, this baby's going to give
You know
the
who would
best
show up for that?
pecans you've ever had.
You know who would show up for that?
Who?
Paul Adama.
For sure.
I'm here for the free 29-year-old pecan tree.
When I was in college, I worked for a marketing company, and it was a small marketing company, and my boss, he was a really cool guy, and I remember him taking me to lunch one day and telling me, Nicholas, the most important thing you'll do in business is name your company. I don't know if that's true or not, but you better believe I was blown away when I met the company Iowa Cover Crop. I mean, it's a brilliant name, but it's a little misleading because you might think, oh, okay, they do cover crops. But they actually do a lot more than cover crops. Basically, if it's not corn and beans, they probably have it. You're talking about grains, alfalfas, lawn mixes, cover crop mixes, forage mixes. They do all sorts of things. In fact, they even have CRP and native mixes. I really like the people who provide those for them. If you are looking for anything that's not corn and beans and seed and you're in Iowa or a state touching Iowa, I highly, highly recommend looking into Iowa Cover Crop. That's iowacovercrop.com. Oh, and they have a new podcast. I really enjoy it. They didn't ask me to put this in the ad. I just wanted to because I've really enjoyed their podcast. Super informational. If you're looking to learn more about cover crops for your farm and how they can apply for your specific situation, you're going to want to check it out. It's called Under the Covers. Again, that's iowacovercrop.com. Did I ever tell you about Disney World? How they got their trees?
No.
Obviously mature trees take decades to grow.
They just cleared the swamp around a few of them.
Honestly. Well, Walt was an impatient and very let's get it done guy. And so he sent his people around to buy trees out of people's yards for quote unquote free and said, hey, you probably want to take this tree down. It's a hazard to your house. We'll dig it up for free and fill it back in and put sod on top of it. And that's how he got all for opening day. They had all these real trees. Now, so that was kind of funny. A bunch of them died, but it took a while, an opening day, and all the photographers were already been through there. So
sleeves look a little curled. I can't really figure out why.
And I guess they painted some of the dirt lawns green so it looked like grass because they couldn't get some of their grass to grow. You don't know, you don't know.
Nothing could be more appropriate for the situation. The carousel of progress.
Oh my goodness.
That's an actual famous ride there, the Carousel of Progress.
Really?
It's either at Disney World or Epcot. I can't remember where. I went there a bunch of times when I was a kid.
Disney World?
Yeah, I've been to Disney World 4 times, and the last
I know
time
you're
was
a
when I was
big
12.
Disney adult.
Oh yeah, real big on that. even if I was, I couldn't afford it.
Kent goes on the Disney cruise every year.
I bet for a family my size to go to Disney World for a week, I bet it's over $5,000 for that 1 week.
Mm-mm. Well, it depends on how much you
like. If you went to all the parks and ate 2 meals in the park every day,
I bet you
because the passes are expensive.
Well, but you can get the ultimate VIP pass for a family for $6,000. I bet you're at getting there and back. Yeah, you're at $5,000.
I mean, travel,
traveling there.
I bet it's a $5,000.
Yeah,
vacation.
it is a $5,000 trip. Yeah,
and one dude, that's a tractor.
Yeah, dude. One of these days we're gonna start paying you, and you're gonna be able to go to Disney World again.
All my folding money just goes to old farm equipment these days.
Yeah, you love it. Love it. The Disney World is just so low on the list of places I want to go, and some people love it. But
I'm glad I had the experience. Though it was a lot of fun when I was a kid.
I believe
I would like to take. I have 3 daughters who love Frozen and all that stuff and dress up like princesses. For them, it would be magical to go there. So I would like to take them.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me personally,
you need a different set of cards.
So
that's not the cards right now.
It's my 86th favorite thing to do.
I think why, I don't know. My thing with Disney World is I probably wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it. But I'm so tired that when it finally is time for vacation, if you say hey, here's the list of things we're going to do.
Stand in line.
Yeah. I mean, that's why Riley's not with us is because.
Listen to spoiled kids scream.
Oh, man, dude.
You couldn't handle it.
I wouldn't, dude.
Plus, from doing this podcast, we've focused so hard on cross-examining the human condition. And that's where it takes you.
I'd cry. This is too much. It's too much. All right. Here's the bougiest Cashew, in my opinion, it's the bougiest. Cashews, 12 billion pounds. And the United States does none of it. The vast majority is West Africa and then some in India.
I knew there was a tree nut that was grown in Africa because I know these people that spend a lot of time in Africa, and they were working at a school, and part of the ways that they funded the school was they got some nut trees.
Have you seen a cashew like flower nut thing?
What do you mean?
It's like a weird bulb thing that has a cashew sticking out the bottom. It is a weird looking.
Oh, really?
It is very weird. Yeah, highly recommend. Oh, and I should say about pecans, part of the reason their price is so high is because they really like humid areas, which comes with all sorts of issues with trees, right? Yeah, so it's just harder to, they take more management. Yeah.
My tree, finally.
Yeah.
30 years. How about a little blight?
Oh, man. Could you imagine if ash trees gave off a fruit that we ate? That'd be terrible.
Ash trees are used to make bats for Major League Baseball.
Really? There's like a specific wood they use?
Ash was the primary. I've been meaning to look up and see if the rampant emerald ash borer problem that's gone all over our country, if that has affected baseball bat manufacturing to where we used to make them out of ash, now we make them out of something else.
Pallet wood.
Yeah, we make them out of mulberry.
So cashews is actually, of the nuts we've talked about, the largest net of producers and brokers and buyers. It's the hardiest system in terms of the actual economics of it. Apparently, they're pretty fragile ecosystems and where they're at, but they have a lot of different brokers, and there's a lot more, I would say, options for the actual producers to be able to sell them. Now, the big thing is because of that, they're getting shipped all over the place, and very rarely are actually cashews processed in the country they're harvested. That's kind of interesting. Their big things, they have a huge carbon footprint, like the amount of fuel it takes to ship cashews around to get processed. Yeah, not a small deal. All right, number 6, our good friend, not a nut, but we love making them here. The old peanut. Our good friend.
Legume, right?
Yep. It's a legume. It's
legume.
Legume.
Legume. I never feel confident when I say that word.
Legume. Legume. We call legume. Pretend like it's a Lord of the Rings character.
I like legume.
Legume. You sound like you want to be wealthy. You say legume. 110 billion pounds. And the United States, this is kind of interesting. The United States did about 10 billion of those pounds. China does a ton of peanuts, but use basically all of it. They don't export any. India, and then the United States is third. And these are nice because they're annuals, right? Pecans 30 years, and peanuts are annuals. They are sold with contracts. And because
I wonder what the majority of peanuts are used for. Oil, interesting, peanut oil, or just the raw nut, or
in China,
peanut butter.
In China, the vast majority goes to peanut oil. But I would imagine that it is that skews it heavily. But in the United States, I have no idea. I would guess peanut butter.
That'd be my guess.
Because if it's made in the U.S., they probably don't want to ship it from other places. So they ship it from somewhere close. And if they're going to make it in the U.S., they're definitely going to sell it in the U.S. because you don't make stuff in the U.S. and sell it outside the U.S. because U.S., we're willing to spend more on stuff. And because of that, if they're going to sell in the U.S., they got to put a bunch of sugar in it. Yeah. And that's why we've got the Jif with a bunch of sugar. Although, man, dude, I have been hammering bananas with peanut butter recently.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Jif? Or do you do like the all-natural organic peanut butter?
I will do whatever is in the cabinet, which right now is a small. So my wife gets hankerings.
Right now it's Reese's
peanut butter cups. I've been hammering peanut butter recently. It's just like tons and tons.
It's really been helping my health.
Oh man, no, my wife gets a hankering for very specific.
No. I chew the chocolate off first, and then I go ahead and just put the.
So I get just peanut butter. But she gets a hankering for food. and she's like, "This is what I'm doing." Like,
Yeah.
and so she'll buy whatever specific ingredient. So a lot of times she like does these toast things with crunchy peanut butter.
Yeah.
And I love crunchy peanut butter.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Except for when it gets stuck in your molars, then you hate it.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that feeling. So peanut butter is actually kind of a fighting point in my marriage. We've had much marital strife over peanut butter
Please continue.
because while I appreciate, my wife is a legend when it comes to ingredient choice, right? My health would be so much worse if the grocery shopping was left up to me. So she tries to get the cleanest ingredients for everything. I mean, everything. Cheerios.
She gets the peanut butter to taste like bark.
No, it's so all natural peanut butter. It tastes the same, more or less. I mean, yeah, less sugary, but basically tastes the same. However, it is way less spreadable, I guess you would say. It's more of a liquid. It's more of an oil. And when you get a fresh jar of that stuff, like the peanut butter that settles down to the bottom
Is like bark.
is almost like crumbly.
Yeah.
And the top layer is just a layer of oil, of peanut oil. So you have to mix that, churn it all together. And even still, when you go to like pull the knife out, it's like dripping everywhere, right? It's super messy. It's extremely messy. When you go to like put it on your toast or whatever, it's running everywhere. I know people are listening like, oh, you just got to take your time and do it the right way. Look, when I'm making toast, it's not because I got time on my hands.
It's because he was supposed to be at work 10 minutes ago.
Right, exactly. And so it's like, it's so inconvenient
You need the squeeze bottle. That's what you need. You need a 4-year-old squeeze bottle. Yeah. Just bite the bullet. Get Uncrustable.
No, so I appreciate that it is way healthier than your standard jar of peanut butter, but it is also way messier and way less convenient to deal with.
There was a girl I worked with that I asked out once, and she said no. Big sad. and
all right, we're just gonna end it there.
Over the years, we became pretty good friends.
Yeah.
And I asked her later, like, "Hey, why'd you say no?" And apparently, one time I was in the break room and I was hauling in Uncrustables at Olive Garden. I had like a box and I was like shoving, like I was eating like 4 and going back to work. And she was like, "Just gave me the ick so bad. I couldn't get over it." She's like, "Otherwise, you're great."
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so I don't touch Uncrustables anymore. But
why did you share that on the phone?
It's funny.
It is funny, but man,
I'm married. You know what I mean? I got no one to impress left. Man. All right. So peanuts are.
That's the second ick story I've heard about you. The first one was a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Yeah, I've got a bunch. I just have strong actions. Man of strong words and strong actions. So
you say things, and as a matter of fact, you do things.
Yeah. We actually called an insane asylum. We're going over to so the peanuts are sold with pre-planting contracts. Normally, the contracts don't say, "Hey, we'll take this many pounds." They usually say, "Hey, we're going to buy everything off of that acre," which, depending on how it's worded for a farmer, can be very safe because they know their input. So they know their inputs are getting covered, and then the risk is taken on by but then all the booms are taken on by whoever bought their contract as well. But they're legumes. So
you're motivated to do medium as a producer.
Yeah. Motivated to do medium. They are a legume, so they actually rotate in well, I believe, with corn and with wheat. Are able to be, depending on if their regions actually overlap. Not all of the peanut regions overlap.
That's what they rotate with.
Yeah, and some of the places.
Never knew that. That's interesting.
Yeah. So legumes, I'm paying more and more attention to just in the native prairie world, because I do think. Personally, I don't think we use native legumes, to the power that they have to make sure that prairie establishments do what they should, whether withholding, putting in, having them after corn or after beans, prairie planting. I think there's some measuring and studying to be done there. But the reason I had that epiphany at the grocery store when I saw those pistachios, and I was like, oh my goodness, we're so screwed. And I was like, what does it actually take to get nuts? You know, we just eat them so frivolously, but they're like a delicacy, you know?
If I were to be killed over a bait pile, you know, people like hunt bears over bait or whatever. It'd be pistachios.
Maybe. It might be ice cream sandwiches.
Oh, yeah. Ice cream sandwiches, too, yeah. But I just can't. When there's like a bowl or a bag of pistachios, I cannot help myself.
Oh, man. I don't blame you. All right. Well, everyone listening, thank you so much. Hey, been some action on the forum there. Thank you.
Keep it up.
I promised you guys that if you asked a question, I would go get an expert, and that's what I've been trying to do. And also, for all the sponsors that you've been hearing on our podcast, if you have any interest in what they do, or if you're needing seed from those companies, or McKay Insurance, reach out to them. It's a big deal to us. It actually helps.
Yeah,
it continues our relationship.
I just caught a little clip of the Iowa Cover Crop podcast.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting. I did a little research after I saw it. It was about prussic acid and how it's harmful to cows. And turns out it's that it is found most commonly in like sorghum and Sudan grass.
Yeah. Well, Bill and James and Megan and Melissa and their teammates Josh, and there's one more that I'm forgetting. I'm sorry. They aren't pushovers. Like, they know what they're talking about with cover crop. They do a great. So I really enjoy them. Hey, thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you again next time.